it's been baffling to me for a while that the passions get to where they are. But here's the storyline, just so you know, and you tell me all the ones that you've seen like it. Don't think he can play, don't know if he can play, don't have proof he can play. Everyone questioned it, but there's a very loud minority that says you should not question it. And then we worry for his health and for his life, and somewhere in there, 6 games made him the best quarterback in the league. That ain't normal. It was plenty abnormal before that. Like, is it even 6 games or is it 5 games for him? It's 5 or 6 games this season where what's happening around him is an insanity. He is the talk of the league. He is now entering, people are talking about MVP and having these arguments nationally. Dolphins, national team. Is this Tyreek Hill's doing? Is this Tagovailoa's doing? Colin Cowherd is learning. He's got all his limited view things, and then he says Tua's no good, and it explodes in views. Can't pronounce his name yet. Still hasn't learned his name. Clearly not watching his games. Like, clearly just saying things in order to titillate and bother Tuanon, right. And it works.
It does. I saw that clip, and at the end of it, he makes it feels like his entire take is to work towards Tua being good, and it's just like, no, he's not good. And it just seems so contrived. Like in a writers' meeting, he's like, all right, we know Colin goes for this with different fan bases. He's lost Baker Mayfield. He's irrelevant now, so he needs something else there. He's seen how Emmanuel Acho has become the crown prince of Dolphins Twitter, and he wants in on that game. I did not get what Colin Cowherd was trying to say. Flatly confused me. It's just a gut thing with him, and I realized, oh, he's just doing that thing to get social traction. Oh, he's so good at this. How did I fall for this? This clip is way too long.
It's what the Tua haters have to do. I mean, you hear a little bit with Whitty, like he wants to give him credit, but you just hear him kind of like saying little phrases that like support his take prior. Keyshawn Johnson's doing this a lot. He's bending over backwards to not say that he's good. Like, oh, it's all good circumstances. See, you could tell by Whitty's demeanor right now. He's about to... he's going to give Tua a backhanded compliment right now. Go ahead. Go ahead, Whitty.
Yeah, I have noticed on Mondays, I do like to undercut. I do like to undercut, and it's unfair because Tua deserves absolutely no undercutting this season. He has been spectacular. I just do. You can't really control for how much is him and how much is the surrounding circumstance because they changed everything in one offseason. They changed the coaching. They changed offensive line. They changed with Tyreek Hill. And so you can't really control for, like, for example, we had the argument on Tuesday when your dad was here about, the Dolphins lost when Tua went out of the game. And we haven't seen Tyreek Hill with, we haven't seen the Dolphins with Tua quarterbacking and no Tyreek Hill or no Waddle. We've seen Tua with his full complement of weapons.
No, we have. It was all of last year.
Right, exactly. But with this system, maybe, like in this system, we haven't seen, like, you have to give credit to Mike McDaniel. Like, we haven't controlled for the variables yet. And so Tua has had the benefit of improved offensive line play, a coaching scheme that gets the ball out of his hands quicker, uses the middle of the field. You cannot argue with a single thing that Tua has done while playing this year. Except for that Pittsburgh game. Damn it, I did it again. I did the undercut again.
You did it. You always do it. You can't listen, you cannot resist the backhanded compliment to Tua. But Dan, you said we saw this all last year. We didn't see this last year. We didn't see him with Tyreek Hill. We didn't see him in Mike McDaniel's offense. We didn't see this last year.
No, Stugotz, you misunderstood what I said. He said we haven't seen him without Tyreek Hill, and I said, yes, we have, all of last year. We saw him with just Waddle. We didn't see him with this coaching staff, but you're right. The things that prevented me from being on the hit list of Tuanon, they've got a list of all the people who have said the bad things. Keyshawn Johnson is one of them. My take again and again was I can't do the evaluations this way if you give him no time, no weapons, no coaching, no nothing. They've given him the coaching. He has plenty of time. His decision-making is flawless. And again, the leap in it's not but 6 or 7 games is from I don't know if this guy can play to all the best numbers in the league because they fixed so much around him.
I don't understand how Colin Cowherd said he has the most on-target passes and the most off-target passes when he's missed 2.5 games. None of this makes sense.
I know it's not sexy for podcasting, but I don't want to have any of the conversations we're having right now. I just want to enjoy this Dolphins team.
Oh, but I would say to you, Chris, this is what makes the heat of LeBron, Bosch, and Wade so much fun. I've missed this. I've been dying for the Dolphins to matter like this because Emmanuel Ochoa is absolutely simply just being more extreme than everyone else so that he could get the applause of that, while Colin Cowherd gets jealous of him and says, I'm going to say something that's hugely shocking. Here is the half-truth the Dolphins have bought in on. He's not good.
But this isn't Big Three stuff, because Big Three, everybody knew the Heat were great and just kind of hated that. People genuinely, I feel, don't respect Tua yet. And I just was like, yeah, it's all the factors. It's the offense. It's the offensive scheme. It's the offensive line. It's Tyreek. It's Tua playing better. It's all of those things. It can be all those things, and I just want to enjoy it, and I don't want to have this debate anymore.
But that was true certainly earlier parts of this season. But if you're still doing that thing right now with Tua where you're not sold on him being good, you're just being stubborn, and I imagine it'll circle back the moment he struggles, but it's just so performative right now. We're having a conversation about people having a conversation that they're undecided about this quarterback, and I'm telling you, it's just totally contrived. It's totally made up. It's like saying people don't like Joe Buck, but when you get down to the roots of it, the conversation has always been, well, people don't like Joe Buck. But really, when you peel through the layers, wait, does anyone actually dislike Joe Buck? Has this been a dialogue in the last 5 years? No.
This is why I'm telling you that it's weird, though, beyond the whole thing of I'm not sure if he's good. Oh, my God, I worry about his health. I get afraid, like Stugotz and Billy were, when he's running down the field after his concussion for 7 yards. I get afraid. We go from worrying about his health. Again, this is 7 damn games.
I'm so worried about that, by the way. I'm always going to be worried about that. I think that's a rational thing.
Everyone's health in football.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the chaos of we don't know what it is. Now we worry about his health. Is he better than Mahomes? Like statistically, he's looking better than Mahomes. And it's one of these things when you say, Chris, that it's not the big three. This is where I would tell you it is the big three. People in the Dolphin fan base are dying for anyone nationally to say a thing. Colin Cowherd's views spiked yesterday because he entered these waters. Don't tell me it's not conversationally the same agitation of, oh, you don't believe in this guy? Well, why don't you just eat a bunch of shit because Tyreek Hill and Waddle are on a pace to have a better season than any duo ever?
It's the it factor. It's absolutely the it factor. It's what the Dallas Cowboys have. It's what Tebow had. It's what Baker Mayfield had to a degree. It is just a lightning rod conversation, and it's exciting for Dolphin fans to have that. One of the things that bothers me the most about Tuanon, and I subscribe to it, I love it, blah, 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 like a son. It's just, do we have to put up the highlights of Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow? It's just you don't have to don't have to view the success of your quarterback through the prism of the failings of Joe Burrow.
I disagree.
And Justin Herbert.
I disagree because it's how he was measured I did it too. It's the most negative thing I said about him. As I said,
but
he's
aren't
not
we beyond that. Justin Herbert is now Justin Herbert's finally starting to put up film that you're like, oh, maybe he isn't as good as we're talking about, but we understand he's still this talent. Joe Burrow made it to a Super Bowl. Can't they all just be good? We can't just look at that quarterback class and go, wow, what a class.
I am not a member of Tuanon, but I completely support and endorse their chest beating right now. They deserve it. They were true believers in the face of all evidence, and they said, Tua's our guy. Mike, during the Big Three heat, when people were saying Boston was better or Paul George is coming for you, be like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, but I wouldn't just say Paul George is bad. That's what they're doing. I wouldn't put out mixtapes of Paul George being bad. I would just say something that was relatively obvious, that LeBron was better than Paul George.
And all the evidence wasn't bad, Witty. Like that, I push back on that a little bit. Like, you know, the record Tua had his first couple seasons. Like, I know that's not exactly a quarterback stat, but people were cherry picking stats to criticize Tua.